We just hit 100,000 subscribers, so we thought it would be really fun to go back and react to our first video ever. Now, first and foremost, we wanted to thank you guys and show you the plaque, the 100,000 plaque. This is a silver play button. Sabrina and I are extremely excited to get it, and it's been a long time coming. We feel like we've been working for a really long time for this. What are your thoughts on seeing the play button, and how does it feel?
Really cool, but at the same time, it's just a, I don't know, a piece of wood, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not trying to hate. I'm grateful, but this thing, it feels like cardboard with a little silver plating on the outside. A little bit underwhelming, but it gives us something to look forward to.
It humbles us.
It humbles us. It reminds us that there's still a long way to go. Again, we're very, very grateful to receive this plaque. We actually bought the one back here. You can see right here. We bought that one as well. And that one is really heavy duty. I wish that they would have sent us that one, but we wanted that to put in the background of like our podcast and of the videos and all that stuff. So very, very grateful. Thank you guys for 100,000 subscribers. Let's get into it. I already know this is going to be funny. As you can see, kills the bend test. Okay, first things first. Anybody that watched this video and didn't comment that your audio is awful, you lied. You lied, because that already sounds super awful. I'm not saying that it's like a million times better right now, but the audio and the quality on this video is it is very bad. So I remember we had a Nikon DSLR camera, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember the model number, but I bought it for you when we were originally gonna have our first kid, because I figured you'd want to take pictures of our daughter, and it was not made to film videos at all, as you can see, but I had no idea what I was doing. You can see I have a microphone there. I'm not even sure the setup that I had at the time. It's kind of funny. You can see the backyard. That playset is like brand new, so this was a while back. It's just kind of crazy to see, but the audio and the quality already definitely not good.
So many things flood through my mind watching just the first couple seconds, because part of me is like, wait, is this our intro or is this the middle of the video? And then, you know, just kind of looking back in time at our backyard, we've been living in this house for 9 years. Yeah. And, you know, seeing the fence with like brand new wood back there, the brand new play set, and no concrete. You know, we laid down so much concrete for all of our grills now, and just to look back, it's very nostalgic. But yeah, instantly right off the bat, I'm like, did we start at the wrong spot?
Yeah, no, I don't know. So at this point, I was editing the videos all by myself. I actually filmed this video all by myself. Yeah. It's probably one of the only, well, I don't remember how long I kind of did this by myself before Sabrina stepped in, but at this point, I had nobody on the back of the camera looking to see if things were looking good, nobody to check audio, nothing. So I was just shooting from the hip, and well, this is the video. And the other thing I will say is the brisket does look pretty tender. So I don't fully remember how this video went, but the brisket does look tender. So let's see how it turned out. Tender as can be. Perfect brisket, perfect bark, perfect bite. You love to see it. So the cool thing about that intro is, I don't know if you guys know anything about our logo, but I actually drew it out, I sketched it out, and I sent it to somebody on Fiverr. They actually made and digitized our logo and then put it into that intro. So I think at the time I paid around like $40 or $50, which was really inexpensive, but it's really cool when you look back. That was our original logo. We still use it a lot. We call it our retro logo, and I actually sketched it out myself. So kind of something that's really cool about that logo. I don't know why we're not using an intro anymore, but that one was kind of cool. It gives the vibes of a beach. And I get people asking me all the time, hey, how come you don't ever cook fish or seafood? It's like your Gulf Coast smoke, and you don't do any seafood. So it's like, man, I don't know. But we definitely were going for that beachy vibe. We live in South Texas, right next to the beach. So that's exactly what we were going for. Hey guys, Alonzo here with Gulf Coast Smoke. And today, I'm so excited to bring you our very first YouTube video. Was I say I was excited, and I'll tell you what, dude, that's bad. Like, I did not sound excited at all. to do our first video, but I think, you know, back then I was just so nervous. I know I was excited. I was so nervous. I really didn't know how to do this. I still don't really know how to do this. Right now we're just hanging out in our kitchen, literally hanging out in our kitchen, making this video. And it's so funny and it's so cool to see because I know the excitement that I've always had when it came to making barbecue videos, but it just does not come off. I could easily see how people would watch that video and just think, man, this is not going to be a good video. But if you did watch that video and you've been here since then, I really appreciate you guys sticking through because so far this is crazy. Before I get into it, I do want to let you guys know I really appreciate the support that you've been showing me on Facebook and Instagram. I wouldn't be trying this today without you guys, so again, I really appreciate that. What I basically want to do with this channel is I want to bring you guys along ride with me. Every single weekend I cook, and I want to show you guys how I do it, who I cook with, instant feedback with some reactions, and just so much more on this channel. So if you want to, click subscribe, hit the little bell. You can be notified every time I put out a new video. It would mean a lot to me. So the cool thing about it is even as you watch the introduction and I continue to talk a little bit, you can kind of feel I get a little more comfortable because I'm just more having a conversation like with the camera. And cool story about this, I actually had my buddy Travis was supposed to be our cameraman and he quit after day one. Travis, if you're watching this, man, you were supposed to be here with us. You should have been sitting right next to Sabrina. We would have been on this ride together. Just teasing, but we actually did have it planned for Travis to be our cameraman. And we were so frustrated the first day that we tried to film. We tried to film 2 videos in one day. The audio was horrible. The shots were horrible. Travis and I both didn't know what we were doing. So he got really frustrated and he was like, man, I'm done. I can't do this. But that's just a funny little story, a little joke about all this. But of course, I kept going. But I think it's cool to see as I'm talking, I'm getting more and more comfortable looking at the camera, being a little bit more, I don't know, like uppity, a little bit more enthusiastic about what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody has to start somewhere. Like you just, if you're gonna do this, you have to start somewhere and know that possibly this is gonna be how your first video is, but. Yeah,
and if you never post that first video, you don't get to our point, and even further beyond, which of course, like I've already mentioned before, we wanna get to, but I think it's super important to click publish on that first video. Now into this. What we're gonna be doing today is a 20-pound Wagyu beef brisket. Shout out to my favorite butcher in Rockport, Texas. You know who you are. This piece of meat is looking absolutely righteous. I cannot wait to see how this tastes in the end. We're gonna go ahead and trim this up. We're gonna get the pit ready. We're gonna rub it. We're gonna cook it. We're gonna drink some beer. We're gonna have some fun. And we're gonna show you how we cook the Gulf Coast Smoke way. So come on in a little bit closer. Let's start to trim this bad boy up. First and foremost, I don't even drink beer.
I was just about to ask how much beer was drinking.
I don't even drink. So I don't know why I said that. I know that later that day we had friends come over, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And maybe there was a little bit of fun going on, but I actually don't even drink. So not really sure why I said that, but anyway, onward and upward.
Right, so quick tip for anybody starting barbecue videos. You definitely don't want to start with a major cook like a brisket, and definitely don't want to invite people over to eat the food because, you know, if it's not finished and you're trying to film, it's not a good mixture.
That's definitely one of the hardest things when it comes to making videos in general is like right after we're done here, we actually need to film some more. And we plan on taking it over to my parents for dinner. Who knows what time it's going to be done. It's going to be done when it's done. What I want to do here is this is a backyard brisket. We're not trimming for competition or anything like that. But I do really want to make sure that this hard fat right here that doesn't usually render out, what that means is it basically doesn't melt out and it won't taste very good. I definitely want to get this trimmed as well. So we're going to go through that process and then I'm going to show you guys what we're going to rub this with. And I think you're going to be pretty surprised.
Now, compared to how you would approach a brisket, is this pretty similar still these days?
no, I would definitely not even mess with the top side. Now, of course, I would take that decal fat out because, as I mentioned in this video, it doesn't render out, it doesn't melt, and it doesn't turn into a good bite. But because I cook fat side up 99% of the time, doesn't even really matter on the smoker, I'm not messing with that bottom side. None of that scares me. I really wouldn't waste too much time unless there was a bunch of fat over top of that meat. Now, on the flat here, you definitely do want to keep some fat. You know, rule of thumb is 1/4 inch of fat on the flat. And again, that's going to be where you get your lean slices out of. So just a few tips, a few things to look for. And yeah, now that we've trimmed this brisket up exactly how we want it, we're going to go ahead and season it. And just so you guys know, this is going to be a Texas brisket today. So we're going to keep the seasoning extremely, extremely simple. What I actually want to do, number one, shout out my buddy, Sebastian Quintanilla at BBQ Fiends. If you have Instagram, go ahead and follow him here at BBQ Fiends. He puts out great stuff. This is just salt and pepper mixed up, but I used the bottle he gave me. He actually was making some rubs, which turned out really good, by the way. Be on the lookout for those soon. But this is just 50-50 salt and pepper. This is actually coarse salt and coarse black pepper, and that's what we're gonna season up with. Now, one thing that a lot of people go back and forth on is if you need a binder or not for your brisket or for any type of meat. I personally like to use one just to make sure that the rub does stick and adhere to the meat properly. So I use Worcestershire sauce, and that, like I said, that's what I like to use. I don't use too much, just enough to get the meat a little bit wet.
Worcestershire sauce is something that we still kind of use. We don't use binders too often, but in a backyard brisket, that's something we still do to this day.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I think it's kind of funny to look back and see how long we've been doing it, because as you kind of start doing things in barbecue, I don't really remember the first time I did it or if I continue to do everything that I used to do in the beginning. But to see that when it comes to a backyard brisket, we're still using Worcestershire sauce, that's pretty cool, because I do really like the flavor of Worcestershire sauce. Do I think you really taste it in the end? Maybe not necessarily, but we also like to spritz with water and Worcestershire sauce when it comes to beef, and I do definitely think that you taste that. Rub sticks right to it. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get this whole thing. I have no idea what that was. It just popped up on the camera. So, you know, it's funny because it's like, wow, what was I really thinking here? I have my right hand in front of the piece of the meat the whole time. It's kind of blocking what I'm actually doing. I have the rub there, which that's cool to kind of show off my buddy Sebastian. Shout out Sebastian. He's actually going to be opening up soon here in Corpus Christi, Texas. We're really looking forward to seeing him over there. But I just kind of had so many things that I was doing what I would call wrong. As creators now, you start to look at stuff and you're really, really anal about weird things, and the line's got to be perfect in the back. Even if you don't shoot them perfectly, you can edit it perfectly. But either way, I'm just like, I hardly showed any of my trim here. I think that's really weird. I don't know. Out of nowhere, I was like, you want about a 1/4 inch of fat? Okay, now I've got my brisket trimmed. Didn't really show you guys anything on how to do that. Probably really struggled with this trim, if I'm being honest. I don't remember, but it's just really, really funny. And I think that it's really cool to see how far we've come. Not that we're great at this, but we definitely do this a lot differently now. Rub down with some Worcestershire sauce, and then I'll show you how we're going to season it. Now that we're done putting Worcestershire sauce all over our brisket, we're going to go ahead and start to season it. And again, this is Texas brisket, salt and pepper only. You can hit it with a decent amount. It is a large piece of meat. You're not really going to over season it unless you just, cake it on. But you definitely want to put a decent amount on there, and you want to make sure that you get all the surfaces. From here, I can actually see that I left a lot of the fat right under that point meat, which I would dig a lot more of that out. So if you don't actually trim that out, you're gonna get really, really thick fat pockets in between your lean and your point slices. So I'm curious to see in the end what they look like. I bet you there's a large piece of fat in there, which wouldn't really be ideal for me, especially if I'm giving this to guests. As you can see, we're all seasoned up. Like I said, this right here, I cut out nothing but fat right there. And that's just personally the way I like to do it, guys. Like I said, you don't have to do it that way, but I personally don't think that this renders out, and it doesn't taste very well. So I prefer to get rub closer to the meat, so in the end you get bark on more meat. But like you can see, this brisket is rubbed down. It is ready to go. So let's go ahead and head out to the Weber Smoky Mountain.
Now, how would you rate that trim? Is there anything else you would do? I feel like maybe nowadays I'd see you like round the corners and those edges.
So I mean, I would round the corners. I definitely would not dig the decal out like that. I would just kind of take my knife and angle it around 45 degrees and really just cut around there. Just make sure that I don't have too many sharp edges, which it looks like I have a lot there. It's not a horrible trim by any means, but it definitely would be nothing compared to what I would do now. I have the Weber Smoky Mountain 22 set up for the minion method today, and I'm not actually going to go through a tutorial on that. There are a lot of channels out there that will show you how to do it. If you are interested, we can save that for a later video. But what I do want to show you guys is how I'm going to set up the chimney here for this minion method. Now normally what you'll do is you'll actually put the coals in the large part of the chimney here, giving you a lot of hot coals so you can use it on the bottom of something like a Weber kettle or maybe even like a PK grill. But today we're actually going to flip it upside down and use this small section here to light up about 15 briquettes, so we could put it right in the middle of all these coals and slowly burn outward. That's what the minion method is. That's what we're going to be doing today. So now I remember at this point of my barbecue career, I was watching a lot of T-Roy Cooks. You remember him?
I do.
He would make a lot of Weber Smoky Mountain videos. He's an absolute legend when it comes to Weber Smoky Mountain videos. And I specifically learned a lot about the Weber Smoky Mountain from him and Baby Back Maniac. Two names that I don't see too much of anymore these days, but in my opinion, true legends and pioneers of YouTube when it comes to barbecue. And I just love that I was using these methods back in the day that I learned from them. I think it's really cool when you do sit back and you learn from somebody. And now you guys know I'm really dialed in on my Weber Smoky Mountain. And I really truly think that I've gotten pretty good with the Weber Smoky Mountain. I have some ideologies when it comes to using it that a lot of people either share or they've learned from. And it's really cool to see I learned from people, and now hopefully I'm teaching some people.
Now, would you still be using the minion method today to start your Weber Smoky Mountain?
No, absolutely not. I would just use the torch. I would use the torch, or I would use the Royal Oak fire starters. You just use the little tumbleweeds, throw them in the middle, light them up. Man, 30 minutes later, you got a nice bed of coals, and everything is ready to go. I'm going to get these coals lit. I'm going to throw them right in the middle. We're going to get our water pan filled up, and we're going to get ready to throw this brisket right on. So now that our coals are good and hot, what we're going to do is we're going to dump these right in the middle of that little bowl that we created earlier. And let the smoke roll. Got the Weber Smoky Mountain running at 275 degrees. We use that minion method that I just showed you, and we're ready to rock and roll on this brisket. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier when I say that I had nobody looking at what was focused or what was not focused. You can actually look at this video and you can see that the camera is pretty much focused on the corner of that canopy and not on my face at all. So pretty funny to see, but man, I don't know, it brings a huge smile to my face to just see where we started. I'm so grateful. I don't know. This is really cool to watch. So a lot of people, when they do these reaction videos, they'll watch the video first, kind of maybe get some notes and see what they want to talk about. Sabrina and I wanted to come in blind to really take it all in and give you a true reaction. And so far, I don't know. It's like this was only 5 or so years ago, but I looked different. I was different, just to see where we've come in our lives now. It's really cool. Like, I talked to somebody the other day. YouTube is pretty much like a catalog of your life. And that's one of the things that I really love about making videos, because 5 years ago, I was a different person. My kids were younger. My son was young or not even born. And it's just crazy to see where my life has come. I don't know. It's just a blessing to be able to go back and watch. Even if you don't want to ever make YouTube videos, I think that picking up the camera, shooting some home videos, or just saving them on your phone, man, you can just look back on a lot of cool memories. 275 degrees is going to be the temperature I use the whole way through. So what I do want to talk about real fast is this thin blue smoke that's actually coming out of the smoker. It's almost like transparent. You can see it, but it's not quite there. It's not a thick white smoke. And that's actually a good thing. So when you have thin blue smoke, transparent smoke coming out of your smoker, that means you're burning a clean fire. So right now, I'm burning a clean fire. All's looking good to go. If you're ever smoking meat and you notice a thick white smoke coming out of your smoker, that's time to check on your coals, check on your wood, check on whatever fuel you're using, and make sure that everything is going well. That's usually an indicator that you're not getting enough oxygen, airflow in there to get that wood to combust, or you're using bad wood overall.
I know over time your thoughts have changed on dirty smoke, which all of that, it still applies. You don't want dirty smoke throughout your entire cook, but it does have some usefulness in certain situations. Yeah, so, you know, I had watched a few videos on YouTube about dirty smoke, and then I talked with my buddy George Watts, owner of GW's down in the valley. Shout out George. And when he cooks some of his meats, he'll actually cold smoke them. So you can look at it as cold smoking, or you can look at it as dirty smoke. Basically what you're doing is you're putting the meat on before your smoker reaches up to temp. And I do that a lot now. So if I'm throwing some beef ribs, some brisket, some pork ribs, anything on the smoker, I'm not afraid to throw it on while it's coming up to temp. So it's slowly getting to temp. I feel like it doesn't shock the meat quite as much, and you're getting a little bit of extra smoky flavor, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, if you are running a dirty fire the whole way through, it's going to be bitter, it's going to be gross, but as long as your fire cleans up and you do get to your desired temp, I think it's a good thing.
Let's move on. Let's put this brisket on the pit. So it's been about 6 hours since I put this brisket on, and what I want to do now is I just want to check it and see how it's looking. Oh yeah, and that's.
So from here, when I look at this, I see these edges on the front getting a little bit crispy. I'm curious to see what I'm gonna do here, but I do see these edges getting a little bit crispy. I'm not sure that I love that, but again, I'm really curious where I take this brisket from here. Nowadays, if I was doing this, I would have grabbed some foil and I would actually wrap those pieces of brisket up, making sure that they don't get too hard, too crispy. It's not gonna end up good. One thing I do like that I see though is we have this probe on the grate, which is something that is still very helpful nowadays, because the thermometer or the gauge that is on like your Weber Smoky Mountain or most drums, they're not as accurate, or it's not accurate when you think about the temperature at grate level. They're two different temperatures, right? So especially probably early on, this was a good way for you to learn to manage your smoker. Yeah, for sure. And I was even using this the other day because I felt my smoker outside and I was like, man, this doesn't feel right. The temperature gauge is saying 300 and it feels way hotter. I threw my ThermalWorks smoke on there and I found that I was running around 355 degrees. So I was about 55 degrees off. This wasn't a Weber product. It was a completely different product, a completely different gauge. Sometimes these things just go out, and these digital monitors, for whatever reason, seem to work for a much longer time.
Absolutely what I want to see right there. You can see that brisket, the color on it is coming along so nicely. That salt and pepper does wonders without a doubt. You can see that it's drying up in a few little spots like right here, but that's okay. Like I said, we can hit.
So I did catch it, and we'll see what I do here. One of the things that I also really like to see at this point is that I'm actively looking for these things and I'm trying to make sure that I overall get a good cook. Now you'll notice I did meat side up here. These days I would actually do fat side up, but I'm really glad that I caught that dry part, and we'll see what I do to remedy it.
With a little bit of water, nothing crazy, and we can let it keep going. So I actually don't think I'm gonna wrap it just yet. I do like the color, but I wanted to get a little bit more bark formation. So let's go ahead and put the lid back on and let it keep rolling. It's been a good 8 hours on this brisket, and I know that it's around the stall time. Right now, internal on the brisket, I'm showing 174, and it's been sitting around that 170, 174 range for a little bit now, so I know we've reached the stall. The stall is when your meat actually essentially stops cooking, and it's actually tightening up so much that it's not really moving past a certain temperature. Now, with the stall, if you ever run into that, don't be worried. Just keep pushing through, keep cooking, if you're interested in wrapping your brisket, now's a great time to wrap. If you wrap your brisket in foil, we call that the Texas crutch, and it actually helps push past that stall extremely fast. What I'm going to be wrapping today with is some pink butcher paper. So let's go ahead and take this lid off, take a look at the brisket, make sure we do want to take it inside, and go on and wrap it up. You can see this is exactly where I want it. The bark formation, the way the brisket's looking, it is smelling delicious. Hasn't dried out in those areas I was talking about earlier because we did keep spritzing it, but it's got a nice color on it. So right now, I'm happy. I want to get this wrapped up with some pink butcher paper. Let's go inside. I'll show you how we're going to do that.
Doesn't look much different.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, for us to go from 6 to 8 hours, doesn't look like much more bark has really formed. I would say that this is not where I would want to wrap a brisket personally. And that's also why I like fat side up, because you could really take a look at that fat and see how it's rendering. It's really hard to do from a meat side up aspect. But yeah, it doesn't really look different at all. It doesn't really look like it's kind of got the bark that I would be looking for. At this point of my career in barbecue, I would definitely keep this going. 8 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours doesn't really tell me whether it's time to wrap or not. Fat render does. I want to make sure it's nice and squishy. I want to make sure if I touch that fat, it almost kind of pops on my finger, but just feels really squishy. That's the biggest thing. All right, guys, so we've got the brisket inside now, and we're going to... From here, that looks burnt. I'm like, from here, that definitely don't look good. In my honest opinion, now, of course, there's lighting and there's a lot of things that come in, but that brisket from here does not look good, and it looks like it's drying out. I promise I understand. I know what bark is. I know we want good bark. That brisket doesn't look good to me at this point. This point of the video, I might be thinking, and this guy don't know what he's doing. But let's see how it goes from here. Go ahead and wrap it. So what we are choosing to wrap it today with is some pink butcher paper. And like I mentioned outside, some people do wrap with foil. We call that the Texas crutch. But today I'm going to go ahead and use this pink butcher paper. It allows me to retain that bark that I've worked so hard for, and also retains moisture within the meat. And I'm really confident that this thing's going to turn out really good. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. It's as easy as it sounds. Wrap it as tight as you possibly can, end over end until you're done. Let's get it. And really, that's perfect for me. This is going to go right back on the smoker. I'm going to put my probe back into the thickest point of the flat, and we're going to make sure that this thing gets tender as can be, and we'll show you that here in just a little bit.
Now, backyard brisket nowadays, would you still wrap in butcher paper?
I mean, it really just depends. I'm not trying to give like a horrible answer, but it just depends. For the most part, I'm doing a foil boat. I like the foil boat method. I just think it makes a really good brisket. I feel like you get a really nice bark. Fat's still nice and rendered, and I just think overall it just tastes really good. So I'm probably choosing a foil boat, but I'm not against any method at all.
Right, I think the last time we really used butcher paper was that pork video where we did the blind test of butcher paper, foil, and no wrap. But
yeah.
Other than that, I can't really think of the last time we've done a brisket in butcher paper.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people are using foil these days. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people are using foil these days. I think it makes it a little bit quicker, it makes it a little bit easier. A lot of people will argue that true Texas barbecue, is with the butcher paper, but man, whatever's gonna help it taste best, that's what I'm here for. So we put this brisket on at 3 a.m. Right now it's around 1:40 in the afternoon. So putting it on at 3 a.m. that might explain why I sounded like I did not want to talk. Just saying, it might explain a little bit why I didn't want to talk. Because this whole time that we're watching this video, I'm like, dude, like, why are you so afraid to talk? Because now I'll tell you what, my next door neighbor's right next to us, and my neighbor on the back, they know that we do this, and this is like a huge part of our lives. And every time they talk to me, they're like, hey, what are you filming today? Rick on the backside over here, he's like, hey man, congrats on 100,000. Like, he follows our page and stuff. So it's become normal for me. It doesn't bother me anymore to go outside and be loud or talk exactly the way I need to. It's just funny. But at least that explains a little bit. It was 3 a.m. I didn't want to talk that loud, so it is what it is. We've been rocking for almost 11 hours now. Also notice I had a pink ThermalWorks smoke, pink gloves, and a pink Thermapin. I think I was into pink at this point in my life, but I've always kind of been like that.
Yeah, well, and we still have the ThermalWorks smoke, that same pink one as
we
well.
actually still have the pink Thermapin too, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
As you can see, my Weber Smoky Mountain did its job. It's still holding at 268 degrees, and the internal on my brisket in the largest point of the flat is at 204. So what I want to do to verify that is I actually want to use my Thermapin to probe the meat and make sure that it feels like warm butter going in and out. So after we're done with that, we'll just rest the brisket for at least an hour and a half in my cooler, and then we'll come back and we'll show you how we slice it. But for now, let's see if the brisket's ready. I feel like I have a little more enthusiasm when I'm talking there, so maybe there really is something to be said about the fact that it was 3 a.m. I'm not too sure. Also, if you look at that brisket real quick, I've been probing it for about probably 2 hours already. You can see holes all over that damn thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
Yeah, there's at least four probe marks on there, so I've been checking this thing. So at this point, I know that it's done. And that's the thing with YouTube, right? A lot of the times we're like, we're gonna check something and we know it's done. It's really, really hard to get everything all the time on camera, but you kind of just have to backtrack. You have to, you know, kind of change the way you do things. But yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure I knew that this brisket was done because you could tell I've been probing this thing for a while. Oh yeah. As you can see, it's reading 203 here.
As you can't
as
see.
You cannot see, it's reading 203. You can't see a dang thing on that, that's for sure.
Now, just by the way that you probed it, do you think you could tell if it was actually tender or not?
Yeah, I mean, it looks tender from here. The one thing I will say is you can kind of, sort of only tell a little bit of the story. There is that feel. Sometimes it'll go in really, really easily, but when you're pulling it out, it'll be a little snug, so I think it's hard to tell. But, I mean, from here, it looked tender. Chin up pretty much perfectly with my smoke over there. Feels like butter going in and out. Let's get this brisket off. Let's get it rested. We smoked this brisket here for about 12 hours. As you can hear, winds are going crazy here in Portland, Texas, but it doesn't matter. This is just what we do, kind of like the
Now, that must be why the audio was so bad, because it is super windy, and I think it did rain at some point that day.
I don't remember. So I know for a fact at this point in the video, I had friends over.
Right.
I had friends over at this point in the video. I think that's where like I'm a little more hyped up and I'm a little more ready to film, because I think part of me obviously doesn't want to look like a weirdo in front of the friends.
Right.
So I think that I was trying to get out of that nervous stage, but you could feel it already. I have a lot more energy here, and I know for a fact I had friends behind the camera. I had my favorite butcher. Oscar was there, Roman was there, Gus was there, Travis was there.
Right.
Yeah,
I believe they were all kind of like
and everyone was like right
yeah.
behind the camera. So I think at that point, I'm excited to eat brisket with my friends, and it's just overall, it's one of those things where like you got people around you, it brings your energy up a bit.
Yeah.
It says we're gonna cut into this right away, and we're gonna see how it turned out. It feels really nice. It has a nice little bend to it. I know it's gonna turn out good. So let's see what it looks like. So somebody actually put the camera down at that point. So like I said, I had friends. They were helping out a lot. I think that was Travis or Roman that was behind there and was really watching what I was doing. And yeah, it's just cool to see, like, as the video goes on, I get better and better. And yeah, it's just nice. Oh man.
It jiggled.
It jiggled. It didn't look bad. I'm gonna be honest. That burnt brisket ain't looking so bad right now. I would take a slice of that burnt brisket right now, that's for sure. Get a close-up of this brisket real quick. Shout out to my cameraman. Look at that bark. I had a couple friends with me today. Okay, dude. The zoom in on that was probably the blurriest piece of meteorite I ever seen. That looks like a boulder that was on Mars, completely black. Like, I say zoom in on that, and it's like, it just looks like a big blurry black piece of whatever. I don't even know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty freaking funny. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, that's what the channel is gonna be about. This is exactly what we do on a weekly basis. We're not changing anything up. We're just bringing you along for the ride. So let's start slicing.
Now the knife.
I'm using a chef's knife to cut this right now, and I have no idea why.
That
I guess
we didn't have knives.
I don't know. Maybe we didn't have a slicer, but we obviously had these Cutco knives that they got us for at the HEB. Wait, no, it wasn't at HEB.
It was at the mall in San Antonio.
Yeah, they got us. They got us good, and we still have those dang knives.
But those
and we hardly
shears,
even use them.
we still use the shears. If you see the white ones we use, still use them to this day.
And they're awesome. They really are awesome.
Yeah, but the chef's knife, no.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing.
Feels tender. It feels tender. Look at that. That's the end piece, man. That's the end piece. It's just
Yet another thing that I can't see. I'm telling the camera, look at that.
I want to see it so bad.
Yeah, I want to
too.
see it so bad, but I tell you what, I don't see a dang thing.
it's feeling so good already. Oh yeah. I mean, it's looking righteous. 11 hours. Weber Smoky Mountain. Post Oak. We are from
So that right there is exactly why you need the slicer, right?
Yeah.
Because the chef's knife's not long enough to get over. Seeing that breaks my heart. You can see the briskets just coming apart. By the end, I'm sure it doesn't look good. I'm sure it doesn't look good, but we're gonna keep going because we have to.
I'm glad you are slicing against the grain though.
I was slicing
the right
against the
direction.
grain. I knew what I was doing at least to that degree.
That's what we do. Moisture through and through. You see some fat there.
Hey, that looks like a good piece of brisket. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I'm not lying when I say that there's a lot of moisture. The fat looks pretty good. Even with my horrible camera at the time, you can see some moisture in that slice, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yes, the fat looks on the yellower side, which is good. And yeah, there's a lot of moisture there. It's got a nice, shoot, that's making me hungry for brisket, I won't lie.
And I'll tell you what, I've been using the Weber Smoky Mountain for so long. You know, when it comes to it, I've had this argument, not even argument, I had this conversation with people, but I tell them, dude, I've been making Weber Smoky Mountain content for so long, and I don't know, these are just like, when I tell you that this thing is amazing, and I think it's the best smoker and cooker for the money, I'm not exaggerating. I used it on my very first video ever.
Let me get a quick taste.
So whoever's finger that was, shout out for being in the first video. It had to have either been Travis or Roman. Again, had no idea what we were doing at this point. It's funny, man. I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse when I say that, but it's just, I don't know, it's just cool to see it, man.
Pitmaster privileges.
So that was my butcher that said that, Pitmaster privileges. Shout out to him. It just was just a good brisket, I think. It looks good. It looks like I'm enjoying it. Maybe I'm hyping it up a little bit for camera. I don't know, but it looked good. It looked good for sure.
I mean, that's not a fake reaction. This is the real
And right on cue, I say that's not a fake reaction. So it must have been that good.
deal. This is absolutely delicious. I'm gonna slice the rest of this up. I'm gonna share it with my buddies, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Dude, as you can see, kills the bend test. Tender as can be. Perfect brisket, perfect bark, perfect bite. You love to see it.
Well, I mean, it looked good. The bend test really, truly was there. It did come apart really, really easily. That did look like a thicker slice, though. So that looked like a thicker slice than the one that I showed on my hand. So I would probably bet that that was a little bit overcooked, and I didn't want to say it. If I'm being honest with you guys, I bet you that brisket was a tad bit overcooked, but it still looked pretty dang good.
That was like competition Texas tender. Like that's what we want to see, it falling apart like that.
Yeah.
In competition a lot of the times. But I also think probably at that point, we didn't think that that was overcooked. We probably thought, oh, this is how it should be. It should be falling apart, which it looked like it had enough moisture, so I don't think it would have been an issue.
Yeah.
But usually if you're not cooking a Wagyu brisket and you're just cooking like a choice and maybe like a very, very not marbled prime, you definitely don't want to cook it to the point where it's falling apart in chunks like that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I definitely agree. I'm not sure what I have here. You guys can see that
Brisket enchiladas, I think.
Really?
I think that's what we did with it.
Interesting. And I have a beer there that I guarantee you
It's water.
I did. Yeah, it's so I guarantee it's either water or it's empty. One of my buddies drank it. It's too good. It's too good.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into my very first YouTube video. Sorry about cutting that slicing part short. The wind and the rain did pick up, so I had to move the party inside, and it just got a little bit hectic. But you need to know two things. Number one, that brisket turned out so good. The bark, the bite, the bend, everything was absolutely perfect. Now, number two, you need to know what I did with the leftovers. So come on in a little bit closer.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I don't know what this is just yet, but it looks good. And I like that I used to say that come on in a little bit closer. I don't know what that was about, but that could be something that I bring back. You never know.
I want to show you these brisket enchiladas that I just put together here in my kitchen with that leftover Wagyu beef brisket, homemade flour tortillas, enchilada sauce, cheese, peppers, the whole thing. You can find this recipe and all the recipes we're going to be putting out this year at GulfCoastSmoke.com.
You cannot.
You cannot find that recipe because I deleted all of them and we were so deflated that we never put them back up.
Yep.
But that can be a project for maybe the rest of this year, or maybe that we'll
2027.
start. Yeah, maybe but yes, you cannot find the recipe because I deleted every recipe we ever had. Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks so much for the support. We'll see you in the next video.
If you try to look at this without any barbecue knowledge, do you think you learned anything about smoking a brisket?
No, definitely not. I didn't learn. I mean, I really don't. So I think that video did okay because we posted it on Facebook. We kind of announced that we started our channel, and I think some people were just being supportive, which is still incredible in its own right, but I don't think I offered very much knowledge. I didn't show much of a trim. I mean, obviously I told you want it to be probe tender around 204 degrees, which is a good thing, but I don't think I offered too much knowledge here. But like I said earlier, you've got to click publish. You have to post your first video, look at it, laugh at it, enjoy some moments with my wife, just seeing how far we've come. Go watch our first video and go watch our most recent video, and you're gonna see a huge difference. And you'll never start to actually see the difference if you don't start. So I loved it. I mean, would I go back and change a thing? I wouldn't. I mean, we're sitting here and now, you know, we've got the plaque, and it's just one of those things where I am proud of where we've come and I'm proud of where we started. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I love rewatching it because it brings back so many memories. Even seeing the fact that the little cereal bins in the back, we literally still have those and we put our cereal in them. Like
Yep.
the same toaster. A lot of things different in the past, I don't know, 6 years since that video came out, but a lot of things still the same. And yeah, I just like look at you and like, this baby Alonzo, like just completely different in a way, but obviously still the same person. So it's really cool to go back and watch those things, like you said, like a catalog of memories of our lives. Like you think you're gonna go back and it's like, oh, I'm gonna cringe seeing that. No, but to me, it makes me happy, right? It makes me happy to see that we were able to make mistakes in videos, not edit it very well, the lighting wasn't good, but we still pushed through and we kept going because we started this not really thinking it was gonna go anywhere, but also with the intention of it going somewhere. So it's really cool to see that we didn't stop and we didn't let those things stop us, and it's just grown to the point where we're at 100,000 subscribers.
The craziest part about all of this is that we kept that camera until we hit 1,000 subscribers. I told Sabrina, hey, I won't invest anything into this channel until we reach 1,000 because that's when we started making money on YouTube. I didn't realize that we still were not going to be making money for a really long time, but you know, it's just for you guys that found us in the beginning with that camera, with that equipment, to what we are now, I truly am grateful. I really, truly am. It means just so much because sitting through and watching that video, Sabrina says she didn't cringe. I cringe a little bit. I didn't do anything wrong. I was learning. I was nervous. It's just part of it. But don't forget, man, just click post. If you guys want to get into this, always reach out to me and I will be glad to offer any help that I can.
Yeah, and especially when you look at our subscribers now, in the beginning, it's like, okay, well, they're mainly going to be family and friends, but really the majority of our subscribers are people we do not know at all. So the fact that people who have no ties to us at all, you just liked what we were doing or what we were trying to do. So just it means so much to us.
Absolutely. So that was our first ever reaction video. We're thinking about doing a little bit more of this, and I want Sabrina to be on the channel a lot more moving forward. So get used to seeing her, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you enjoyed us reacting to our first YouTube video of all time. I cooked a Wagyu brisket. I think I overcooked it, but it was the start of something great.
Maybe we'll do another video of following your directions and seeing how it turns out.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But as always, we really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.